Hey everyone, it's Mad along with Angel today, and we have another new banner coming, probably Sunday. The Dimensional Dragon. He's been in the top five or near the top five of the upcoming units in the next 3 months. So stay tuned, and I'll tell you why, and also kind of tell you why I might not be really pulling very hard for him. So stay tuned. All right, Dimension Dragon. Uh, Actually, Dimensional Dragon. Uh, all in all, good, if not the best dragon leadership effect in the game still. The increased dragon breath power by 20%. It is an absolute must if you want to use dragons effectively. There's really nothing else to say about this. If you want to run dragon teams, Dimensional Dragon is an incredibly important unit. What's really nice about the Dimension Dragon, I'll show you more in the next slide, but the Dimensional Dragon always has 3 movement, and its special effect is it's the Dimensional Dragon. It teleports as it moves, so if there's a barrier 2 movements away, it could just go past it to the third, so it's great for arena. It's great for anything, honestly, like story modes, etc. It does have a lot of very unique and interesting uses. But the main negative on Dimensional Dragon is, and this really hurts me to say it, and I know I've said it a few times, let alone there, but I love Dragon Quest because I loved all the dragons that they had in it, especially like the Green Dragon in the first one, etc., etc. It became a meme for the games and all of the role playing games because of that, and I have a great love for the dragons. But the dragons family here is just not the greatest family in the game, and they still need to buff it up a little bit more. It's gotten better, and with the Dimensional Dragon, it gets pretty close, but they're very tanky, and in this game, that's actually okay for PvE. They just don't have enough damage to really help in PvE, but they can act as tanks. And in Arena, they're good at taking out arena teams, but if you want to be in the upper regions, then you're not going to want to use dragons. But if you're free to play and you want to spend a little bit, Dimension Dragon will help you with those teams and help you fight all the top teams and win just in about 4 or 5 turns instead of 2 to 3, which honestly isn't that big of a deal. Overall, for your arena medals, you'll get them, and that's good. And so that's why he's always been in the top 5 list for me. There's a lot of very good things about him. Some drawbacks, but the positives easily outweigh the negatives. Let's go through the skills. White Ice inflicts crackle breath damage to all enemies. Really wish this was the third skill, only because then it would be powered up more, and Dimensional Dragon would be that much more useful. Ice Prison is a physical crackle damage, so he does have one physical skill, which is nice. Does use his attack very, very well. And the last one is Dimensional Wave. Has 2 elemental breath weapons. Causes very large bang damage. This actually can deal some very good damage, especially along with his leadership effect. So all in all, though, honestly, for Dragon, his kit is very, very good. His awakening skill, increased power and effective breath to himself. So if you get him +1, very, very good. And that's why, as I say, he's still in the top 5. The big negative too is that in Japan, he basically came what would be a month and a half before this. And there are going to be some other units very soon coming down the line that just dwarf him. So, I'll talk more about that during the pros cons and will I pull. Second one, all stats up. First resist 25, fourth resist resistance, and third and fifth obviously is the third damage skill. So for the level 120 stats, his HP and defense are low for dragons, but still still good enough to be tanky. But from a dragon point of view, he's squishy. Um, but all in all, still very good stats for survivability. His agility is very high at 439. Attack is incredibly high at 536. And so his Ice Prison is going to be a very, very useful skill and something that you might use the most out of depending on overall everything. And remember, breath is based off of level, so obviously to get the most out of him, you need to get 120. The movement is always 3, and this is also important because the Dimensional Dragon, what you're really going to see here is that his greatest strength is being able to go off into places and help out other units where most of the rest of the design and how the board was designed was to, separate. Dimensional Dragon can help and make some of those boards a lot easier. And always moving 3 and not having to have that dupe really, really helps out, kind of like my overall ranking into Dimensional Dragon. The preferred weapon, you could go with the Dragon Sword as well. Then the Dragon Claw, that is part of the Dragon Island Forest area. And the Dragon Sword is from the Dragon Battle Road that you can get. They are both very, very good for the Dimensional Dragon, and it kind of just depends on how you feel how the Dimensional Dragon should be used. The sword gives him a little bit more HP, which gives him just a little bit more health and tankiness that he's kind of lacking. So all in all, it kind of depends there. And it also gives him more dragon strength, which is great for his one attack. For the Dimensional Dragon, I'm probably just going all in on his breath attacks. But once again, it is a very, very... Basically, it's 1A and 1B. I almost made a secondary preferred weapon skill slot for the sword because they are both very, very good and can be interchanged. And it depends on also the battle. You might want to have him with the Dragon Sword, another dragon to have the Dragon Claw here, just to help boost that power because that has the right element. So either or works really, really well. I kind of want to state this. But in my world, at least in my mind, I think the Dragon Claw fits perfectly with the Dimension Dragon because I also want him to be moving quickly so he can move where he wants to go first and, use that as kind of my base. This is going to be in the new Dragon family adventure that we'll be seeing on Sunday. I'll talk about more about this probably tomorrow. This skill is the Dragon Breath Power plus 4%, while the sword gives you Dragon Physical Power plus 4%. And as I say, with this high attack, they're both very, very good. Once again, just for that weapon, you're going to probably share it between your tank and or your best attacker. Dimensional Dragon is probably going to be your best breath attacker and your best physical attacker, just so you know. And skills to look for alchemy, there's flat and percentage point breath power, dragon based skill, and dragon attack and agility. This is actually a pretty sweet weapon for dragons. It's just not a lot of people are hyped for it because not a lot of people run a lot of dragons. The preferred learned skills, I'm going to say a lot of the preferred learned skills that I say, a lot of people don't really care because you're not really going to add a A-level skill to an S-level unit as they're not really going to benefit from it. The Dimension Dragon is going to be one of the... If I get the Dimensional Dragon, I will give him probably Blessed Breath. But I will give him one of these skills just so that... because his increase in Dragon Breath power by 20% and his +1 that gives more skill and power to breath attacks, these actually do pack enough of a punch, especially if you get them to the right weakness, that they will actually be useful, and you're going to want to use it instead of like a normal attack, or he does not have a non-elemental skill, so it kind of just helps out. And either Zap or Zam will be the most likely elements overall, and Sis you could go there. So Blessed Breath, Shade Breath, Smoldering Breath, all the same. Very, very good skills to use there. Alright, let's go with the pros. He has two different types of elemental breath and a very powerful attack, which is ice based. So you've got your ice and you've got Zap. And actually, Bang, Io, Bang. And that's why I've got Zap. Sorry if I said it was Zap. I'm sorry. Very, very powerful Bang and Crackle attacks. With his skills and all that, he is probably the most offensive dragon. And with that, it is very, very nice. The only problems that I have with that is that he's so important to your team. I kind of wish that the tankier, he was a little bit more tanky, but he's okay with that. Because that leadership effect is just way too important for a dragon-based team. Yes, it is a very niche leadership effect, but this is one of the few niche effects that is super important if you ever are planning on running a dragon team. That is 20% that you're going to get pretty much nowhere else. So it is very, very important leadership, but very, very niche, as very often you do not need to do dragon teams. Its move is basically a teleportation, so it can move through barriers. Or at least that's how I act in my mind in this game. He just basically teleports in and teleports out. So he can avoid all obstacles on the board as long as he doesn't land in an obstacle. So these very unique skills are incredible. The cons, the first one is just a reminder, and I know I've reminded multiple times. Breath attacks are always based on level. So until he gets to 110 or 120, he will not have his full power. And so he does require a lot of investment to become more useful. And it's very interesting with dragons, as the higher the level goes, the more powerful they become, and it snowballs. If we ever move to a 130 level, dragons will become probably meta just because of the way that the damage calculation is. So it should be interesting, and potentially at some point, if we are gaining a higher level, which we don't have in JP, and we might be at maximum right now, who knows, then all of a sudden dragons will boot up and higher for the overall family rankings, and Dimensional Dragon becomes even that much more important. Hey, look, my game died. For dragons, the HP and defense is low. This is probably the biggest knock on him outside of his family base. It's still very, very good, but from a family point of view, this is very low. But his attack and his agility are incredibly high, so all in all, top notch. Will I pull? I will do lightly. I will do the guaranteed pull or pulls. I would like to have him, and I might use some tech points on him, but I won't go too crazy, because I feel that the dragons still need a power upgrade. And on top of it, we have just seen that we are getting the Beast Family event as well, which has very powerful units, and so that's where a lot of my spending is going to be going to. The A unit, Dragstar. He looks more like Dragstoned, but Dragstar is a very surprisingly useful A unit for a very usable S unit. Its skills are actually all physical based. The first two, Ram and Mad Rush, are actually non-elemental. The third one is Frizz. First one gives small physical damage, may stun and move back 2 squares, so it's a knockback. The Purgatory Rush gives frizz damage 3 times, not sizz, and rarely lows defense, while Bad Rush is a movement where it runs through. It's like the Elena skill where it runs and moves you up 4. Inflicts 175% physical damage on all enemies and moves up 4 squares. So all in all, it's a very interesting unit. Allows you to move it a lot. It has good movement. It can move up to 7 spaces theoretically with the Mad Rush after it's attacked. So it could go around very well. And its stats are actually incredibly tinky with the agility and the attack. It is a very forward and attacky type dragon. Honestly, it's a great unit. What you're going to do for this bonus skill is just another elemental attack. I would probably say Whoosh is the way to go here. The kit is very plain, but it's a good kit. It's a really good kit for this type of unit, especially for its stats. Its leadership effect is increased dragon physical damage by 10%. The negative here is really the only one that you're really going to focus on physical damage for the most part is Dragstar. Dimensional Dragon has some too, but all in all, you're not really going to use for the leadership effect. But this is a solid A unit. And from a banner standpoint, it is a very solid banner. So this is kind of a very interesting video that I've made. You could see how kind of pained I am. It's a great kit for Dimensional Dragon. Dragstar is actually a good A unit. I would really like to get Dragstar as well, just because the kit's really, really good. But dragons still need to be worked on. That could be fixed if we ever have another set of levels to go through, but I think the way that the game's being designed, the cap is right now 120. And so without that, the breath damages need to be increased a little bit before Dimensional Dragon becomes a top tier leader, and instead is a very niche leader. So what do you guys think? Please like and subscribe. You can also comment down below and let me know what you guys think. When things die down a little bit in my life, I will do another gift certificate giveaway. Expect that to be done hopefully before Thanksgiving, to be drawn out. So I will post that in my channel, and the only way that you'll find out instantly is if you're subscribed and also have the notifications up. But if you also check back on my channel regularly, you will see the ability to enter in. Basically, all I just ask is for you to comment down below in that video, and I will pull it after a certain amount of days. Let's see here. The other thing that I'd like to discuss real quick with you guys is that I will have the Dragon family throughout as well, and what that will probably be up is later tonight or early tomorrow, depending on when I'm able to finish everything. So me and Angel would like to thank you all. I will see you guys either tonight or tomorrow again, so good luck, enjoy. And honestly, this is probably one of the toughest banner reviews that I've had to go through, just because I'm going to be honest, Square Enix, you guys, Dimensional Dragon is a very, very, very well designed unit. I just wish dragons were a little better. Bye, everyone.